So should we talk about the Diamonds and Pearls album?
Yeah.
Go track by track?
Well, it seems like a good segue.
Well- Hi, my name's Lee Cocker. I'm one of the founding members of Prince Party UK. I'm here with my friend Chopin. We're going to talk about the Diamonds and Pearls album and how we met and the history of our friendship and loads of other fun stuff.
Hi, I'm Chopin. I'm from the London Prince Meetups, which eventually turned into the Prince Party UK. And again, we're going to talk about Diamonds and Pearls today, because that's the album where me and Lee both bonded over. It was our
friendship was bonded on Diamonds and Pearls. So back in 2013, I'd always seen these advertisements for Prince parties in London. I kept on saying every year, I'm going to go. And in 2013, I was like, right, I'm gonna go to this Prince party. And it was a Prince party weekend. I was really nervous. I had never been to a Prince party before. Then I saw on Facebook that there was going to be a Prince meetup in London. And I thought, I'll go along to meet people so that I know people before I go to the party.
Yeah.
And it turned out that this meetup was about 5 minutes from my office. So I finished work. I walked down to this pub, I think it's the Horse and Groom, Horse and Groom.
That's the one.
And I was really nervous. I went with my friend Miranda, went in and I was looking, and it's like, how can you find a Prince fan? It's like, what do they look like?
So Miranda was your escape plan?
Yeah, Miranda was my, it's like, I'd gone to tours on my own, I'd gone to gigs on my own, and I didn't know another Prince fan. It was quite a unique thing for me. And I was really nervous, and Miranda was my escape plan.
I think, like, unlike a lot of other artists who were like the big deal at the time, I think that's a common story with the Prince fans, because I know it was mine. Even though I got into him in a time when it was like a big, like Diamonds and Pearls, which was we're talking about today. Even though it was a big commercial time, it was still like you weren't surrounded by it.
Yeah, it was quite unique, and I don't know if with me personally it was my own personal thing that I kept to myself, and it was like, oh, I'm a Prince fan and that's special to me, and like I said, I went to the Gold Tour on my own, and I did a lot of stuff on my own, and I hadn't found a Prince fan. It was like, a unicorn. It was like, and that was why I decided to go to this party in 2013. And like I said, how do you spot a Prince fan? How do you what do you do? Shout out, shut up, or it's like a mating call. How do you do it?
Who in this pub knows about the Quake?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what do you do? And I've not actually told you this. You walked in the door, and I was like, no, he's not a Prince fan. I've never told you this. And then Miranda said, "Oh, go upstairs. They might be upstairs." So I went upstairs, and there was this like little plaque thing with the symbol, and I think it was you were there, and I think it was Jeff. I can't remember who else.
Nikki, I think, was there.
Yeah. I can't remember who else I met. I think Neil was the other one I met.
There was a lot of people that night. I remember that being quite busy.
And obviously that was the Thursday. So yeah, and obviously me and you became friends, and all I remember is getting very drunk and me and you rapping to Push outside the Horse and Groom. And to me, who hadn't known any other Prince fans, it was like, these are my people. You get these jokey memes within the Prince community of, it's a Prince thing you wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, I meet people now. I've met people that understand. I remember going to the party and you was there when I walked in the door. And it was such a surreal experience because it was like, hey, you know the words to Interactive. I thought I was the only person that knew the words. It was such a strange experience. But that weekend is like up there with like one of my favourite weekends of all time. And
it was an amazing weekend.
Yeah, and then I got to meet like other people. I got to meet Nadeem and Maureen and and some of these people are like my closest friends now. And, it was amazing. And I just remember me and you just on the dance floor and some 90s Prince track comes on and we're like, yay, it was such a bonding experience.
I was kind of lucky throughout that whole gold era because, like, I started off not having any friends that were into Prince. And through the power of some pretty good bootlegs and the Exodus album, I converted one of my friends, Sam, and he is now comes to the meetups as well. I mean, like,
I didn't know that.
He's been into it. Like, he's been into Prince since '95.
Oh, so you converted one of your friends?
It was two things. It was the platinum bootleg, which now is not a very good bootleg. At the time, it was great. And the Exodus album. And we were on holiday, and I just remember walking into the hotel room. His hands were over his the earphones, and he's going, "Get freaky, let your head back." And I was like, "I got it.
I got him. He's one of us now."
Welcome to the new power generation.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Is that what you were expecting when you came to the meetup? It was like the Children of the Corn.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, get wild, But yeah, and that, and that was one of the reasons and how it all evolved. That Ray, the Dawn Experience, said he wasn't going to do any more parties, and that's when me and several others took it on, and we ran with it, and it's just been a crazy roller coaster ride since 2013.
That's how you got involved in the parties. So how did you get into Prince?
So I'm a big movie fan. I love my movies, and I kind of dipped my toe in with Prince with the Batman album, and I absolutely love the soundtrack. Party Man is like one of my jams. But I wouldn't consider myself at that time. I would say I was a Batman fan. I wasn't a Prince fan. I just liked the music.
Comic sci-fi geek.
Yeah.
My brother was the same. Weirdly enough, I knew all of the Batman songs and the B-sides because my brother was buying anything with a Batman logo. So he was buying all the singles as well. And it just so happens that he liked them as well.
But he wouldn't consider himself to be a Prince fan. It was that sound.
Yeah. Well, he liked the song. He liked Bat Dance and he liked Party Man, but he even bought Arms of Orion because he wanted the full set.
If you can buy them, you've got to collect them all.
Yeah, exactly, comic. But he was collecting all the Micro Machines and everything.
All right, okay. Yeah, and then I think Graffiti Bridge I think I missed that.
Yeah.
And then all I remember around...
Well, if you said that you were a movie fan and then,
yeah, I know.
watched Graffiti Bridge.
Did I watch Graffiti Bridge? I think that wasn't on my radar.
did not until that was one of those things I had to go back.
Yeah, it was the same for me.
Even though weirdly enough, I loved Thieves in the Temple, but I had this weird thing where I loved all these Prince songs, but I didn't put them together as Prince.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like I didn't realize they were all the same guy.
Yeah,
and it wasn't till.
But I think when you realize you're a Prince fan, you kind of admit it to yourself. I'm a Prince fan. You then go back and then you kind of connect all the dots.
Yeah.
Give you an example, is like the very first vinyl record I ever bought when I was little was Shaka Khan, I Feel For You.
Oh, right.
And that's like my favourite song of all time. You can put Shaka Khan, I Feel For You on. And I never knew it was a Prince track until later on, where I went back and then obviously connected all the dots of, oh, yeah. So it was like I'd always been a Prince fan, but not known it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because it was like, I was like, oh, he wrote that song, he wrote that song, he wrote that song.
I mean, that's totally how it worked for me. I think he was almost a victim of his own breadth of styles.
Yeah.
Right? He was a victim that did, like, you can identify, oh, that song's with this song, this song's with this song. With Prince, it was just like, well, that sounds nothing like, Sign of the Times sounds nothing like Diamonds and Pearls. Let's Go Crazy sounds nothing like Alphabet Street. So I think that's...
Yeah, like you said, it's such a wide...
Sounds nothing like
spectrum.
Bat Dance. Yeah.
And everyone has their own taste within that spectrum.
Yeah.
Of, I like this type of Prince music. But the one thing I always... I don't know who said this, but it was someone in the Prince community that said Prince was his own genre. And I always like that because it's you can't. He wasn't defined by genre. He was his own genre
in so many ways.
Yeah. So the Batman album, kind of Graffiti Bridge, wasn't on my radar. And then all I remember is I was watching TV and I saw the music video for Diamonds and Pearls, and I was like, this song is amazing. And then I think it was the Christmas of '91, and I remember my parents bought me the album, and I just remember the cool hologram on the front, and it was like so it was on tape. It wasn't vinyl. It was a tape, so it was like a little tape, and it just had this cool hologram on it. And I and that was it. I was a Prince fan, and I was listening to it, and it was like, wow, this is so many different things. And I'd got into New Jack Swing, and I'd been listening to like Janet Jackson, Bobby Brown, all them things leading up to that. And this was it. And I just remember listening to the album, and it was like, I'm a Prince fan. But Diamonds and Pearls, that song that was the thing that opened the door and like pushed me in. It's like, oh yeah, you're a Prince fan, go.
Well, weirdly enough, same story.
Yeah. But this is it. This is me.
Yeah, exactly. Diamonds and Pearls is the album that made me a Prince fan, but not when it came out. Weirdly enough, it was like my big thing was Madonna and Michael Jackson. I was obsessive about the two of them, still am. And it was around the time the tour was coming up, like Diamonds and Pearls tour. So it was about 92.
Mm-hmm.
And Thunder came out as a single. Now, we were done a lot of kind of like driving in my sister's and my brother's friends. I was our youngest of 4. But a lot of the time, what they were playing were these like pirate radios, like hardcore pirate radios. So big shout going out, a bit East Coast, massive. Okay. Like it was a bit like that.
Yeah.
And then just out of the blue, one of my brother's friends put on a mixtape that he had, and it was a mixtape of Prince stuff. Then Thunder came out as was the first song on the mixtape. I was just like, I was almost bawling in the back of the car. I was just like, I had goosebumps all up my arms. I was like, the hell is this? It sounds like nothing. It sounds, it's religious. It's, it's filthy. Which to me was great because like I've been listening to Madonna Like a Prayer, which is like religious and filthy was it's like my thing. I grew up a little camp kid in Sunday school. Religious and filthy is my thing.
Hey,
and exactly.
You have me.
Exactly. And I was just like, whoever this is, because I didn't know it was a Prince mixtape. Like, whoever this is, and I need a copy of this tape. So I played the whole tape. And then it was Thunder, Get Off, Thieves in the Temple, Sign of the Times, When Doves Cry. And I was, by the time it got to When Doves Cry, I was like, this guy, he did all of this. I love these songs. Then Alphabet Street, Bat Dance, Party Man. I was like, but they're all different. No, they're the same guy. Oh, I'm a fan.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a
it's
fan.
like, it's like, hi, my name's Lee and I'm a Prince fan.
Exactly. Like, that was the moment. That was the revelatory bit, was just like, after I got that cassette, played it, and I was like, oh, I love this guy. Then I was like, my brother, he bought that single, that Bat Dance single. So I went through his record collection and he had like Alphabet Street single. He had because he had loads of records, but he kind of just bought records. That's what he did. And comic books and stuff like that. So he had Alphabet Street, he had Batman, Bat Dance, he had Party Man, he had Arms of Orion. And my sister had been given the Diamonds and Pearls album on vinyl. So I kind of like went rooting around my brothers and sisters, all like, collectively, all their different record collections, like hovered back all the Prince stuff I could find. And I was just like when I got the Diamonds and Pearls album, I was like, oh, this is so good. This is so good. And like after that, Prince fan.
So was the Diamonds and Pearls vinyl, was that the first time you heard the album in its entirety?
Yeah. And it was, by the time, like, this was, like, about 6 months after we got it. And apart from my brother, records and tapes didn't last long in our house. They got scratched. They were like put to the side, you know, like.
Or they
So
come untangled.
exactly, they come untangled, they get ripped. You know, we were not kind to our physical media in our house, VHSs, whatever. They got chewed up, scratched, and played a lot. But my brother was the only one that took care of his stuff. And unfortunately, when I found his Prince stuff, it wasn't that well taken care of.
Does he own it now, or did you take it?
Oh yeah, it was mine. It was mine.
That's mine.
It's like you
Mine
used to
now.
have a copy of Alphabet Street. You don't anymore.
Has he ever said, "Where's all my Prince vinyls?"
And
Like, I don't know where they went.
No, he could hear where they were gone. They were played on a loop.
So, should we talk about the Diamonds and Pearls album?
Yeah.
Should we go track by track.
Well, it seems like a good segue.
Well,
Because,
and you started off with Thunder, so
yeah, it's the song that got me into Prince. What can I say about Thunder? It starts off with one of those great harmonies that only Prince can do.
Mm-hmm.
One of those great kind of choral pieces, like the start of Seven, the start of For You, and Honest Man. I can just listen to Prince sing and do group vocals. With the new piano and microphone album that's coming out, people were talking about possibly like guitar and microphone. I mean, I'd love that, just like an acoustic guitar and microphone. But Prince is one of those few artists that could do microphone and microphone,
yeah.
right? Listen to For You, start of For You. Listen to the start of Seven. Listen to the start of Thunder. Listen to Honest Man. That guy could just sing a harmony part, and I think a lot of his songs, if you took away everything but the vocals,
It would still be a song.
yeah, it would still be a song. It would
Yeah.
still be a beautiful song, and that's that's what gets me about Thunder, is that start. It announces. You know, it sounds like it's announcing God.
Yeah,
You know,
and like you said, it was very, very religious and yet dirty at the same time. But yeah, no, it's a great intro track to the album, and again, it's like there's so many different styles.
Yeah.
This and the Symbol album, there's so many different styles you couldn't describe. If someone said to you, "What genre is the Diamonds and Pearls album?" Can you say what genre it is? Can you say, you know, it's New Jack Swing? Is it pop? Is it R&B? Is it funk?
yes, to all of them.
It's all of them. Tick, tick, tick.
Well, I think it's one of those things. It's like it doesn't. You could call it a pop album.
Yeah.
It's a very artful and complicated and well-referenced pop album, as all his pop albums are. I don't know if you can. I don't think if labels and genres are really useful when it comes to Prince. I don't know.
And obviously, this is the first one with the new Power Generation. So you had a lot more.
Yeah.
It was Prince with another band,
Yeah,
with my spirit animal, Tony M.
exactly.
Tony M is my spirit animal.
Tony M, I've got to say, I have a lot of time for. Maybe because I got into I have a lot of time for him, just because this album, the first MPG album and the Symbol album, I think, you know.
And I think that for me at the time, I was getting into R&B, I was getting into hip hop, and it was like this was like it was Prince, but with rap. It was like, wow, this is.
Which some Prince, like some of the older Prince fans,
I
were
know.
just totally like the two don't go together. But I had no, you know, I had no reference. I didn't know Prince never did rap.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But this is the first album that he rapped on.
Tony M.
No, Prince and it was Prince, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, you can count if MPG singles because Tony M's on that. Brother with a Purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. You tell me what you think about Thunder.
What do I think about Thunder? I always wanted to see a music video for it. I don't think there is a music video for it, is there?
No, there was. One was cut together from pieces of the Insatiable video, and they were kind of like, you know, those kind of clip videos for the chart show. But that's the only thing I can think of that was. I think it's a missed opportunity. That was a video that should have been made, Thunder.
For me, and like I said, it was just the fact of Thunder was more of like, I like it, but I couldn't define why I liked it. I just liked it, and I could, you know, thunder all through, you know, it's
Oh, I can take you through every single
Yeah,
bit.
it was.
I can take the fact through the fact that it's just a really simple, and it sounds so complicated, but it's actually on a really simple.
Yeah,
groove.
it was, and I think, and this was the thing with me and Prince. It was Prince music is the fact of I couldn't. It was like I just like it.
Yeah.
And it could be different styles, it could be different genres. But it's like I don't know what it is, but it's like you connected to it. So with Thunder, like you said, it was religious and it was very gospel, I suppose.
Yeah.
Had the gospel feel to it, and it was like it was almost like a call to action, I suppose.
It's a perfect way to introduce.
Yeah,
an album.
it's a perfect way to introduce an album. It's probably not one of my favorite tracks on the album, but I wouldn't. It's not one that I would skip.
You wouldn't.
If I'm going out of my way to listen to Diamonds and Pearls, I would start from the beginning, and that's another thing about what I liked about Prince and Prince albums is that very rarely do you skip a track. Some artists, you'll listen to an album and you're like, I don't like that track, I'll skip. But with something like Diamonds and Pearls, I remember that's one of the first albums that I would listen to all the way through. So, right, shall we get on to Daddy Pop?
Daddy Pop, yeah.
Great pop track, love it, catchy.
Well, for me, it's one of those songs that, as much as I love it on the album, it's one of those songs I like better live.
Yeah, because obviously we saw MPG
play it live, and like when they played it live on the tour, I mean, like changing it up from the kind of loops and stuff to Michael Bland just going for it. I think one of the things about Diamonds and Pearls is the mix is very polite.
Okay.
Because it's a glossy pop record, and sometimes that really gives, it makes something like Cream and Diamonds and Pearls just so beautiful to listen to. But then I think it takes some of the life out of something like Daddy Pop.
Okay, yeah.
Because Daddy Pop, when you listen to that like tour version, it's like, suddenly Michael Bland's drumming is just huge, and Sonny's bass is just boom, ding, 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 ding. Like it's so much.
So do you
more.
prefer the tour version to the album version itself?
Yeah, I just think it's like I said, it's such a glossy album. It's such a perfectly like mixed album. So much time has been spent on the album that some songs it makes them absolutely perfect. Thunder being one of them, Diamonds and Pearls being another one of them. But Daddy Pop is one of those ones that just, it's just taken a little bit of the kind of drive out of the song. Although I love it on record because that's where I listened to it first. And
is there any like remixes or anything that you?
No, actually, I just think if I was given a choice to listen to that song, it would be the tour version, Diamonds and Pearls tour version.
Right, okay. I understand that. Yeah, it's fine. I don't know what... It's still catchy, and again, it's not one that... And with each track on Diamonds and Pearls, they flow...
Yeah.
Nothing sounds the same on the album. It flows.
Yeah.
And they kind of complement each other, and it's different.
Oh, yeah, yes. It's a beautiful listening experience, like from start to finish. It's just like if you take that track, if you take that track on its own, actually, even better still, the Arsenio Hall performance.
Yes,
like they were going for it. They were really going for it on that performance, and then it was just like.
Is it? Would you say that it's a track that would be a highlight of? Because I didn't see the Diamonds and Pearls tour. Well, I didn't see it live.
I've seen video of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't see it live.
But for you, is that like it's something that highlights the band and?
Yeah,
yeah,
that band, it really calls them into their perfect spots. I think it's a great little live like treat for them.
Yeah,
like because you got it showcases Sonny and Michael really well, while still showcasing Tony M in the same spot. So it's like and Rose's voice. So it's like,
but I think with the MPG and the Diamonds and Pearls album, everyone gets highlighted. I think that everyone has their own bit, and Rosie Gaines, Tony M, they stand out. They have their moments. Would I say it's one of my favourite? They're all. We'll have to go at the end. We'll have to go through on which ones are like. I don't know. It's hard to choose. Right, should we go on to Diamonds and Pearls?
okay,
My favourite song on the album.
really?
Yeah, it was like the song that opened the door.
See,
It's such a great ballad. Love the music video. I fell in love with it. It was my song when we saw MPG recently in London. I just, I teared up, and it was like, no, that's going to set me off. But yeah, it's one of my favourite Prince ballads. Absolutely love it. Love the music video. The whole him running through the corridor and the press photography and the visuals with the obviously Diamond Pearl, the dancers, and just
You like that visual, huh?
yeah, I like that visual. Yeah, which one's the straight guy? It was the song that brought me into this world, so it will always have a special place in my heart. And the woman who ended up being my wife, that song always linked that song to her, so it's always had a special place in my heart. And so that's my thoughts on Diamonds and Pearls. But I don't know if you want to break it down or.
Well, I think it's really interesting because we're two Prince fans of the same era, got into Prince on the same album. The song that is our favourite, the other one can just kind of leave.
You don't really?
That's the song on the album that took me the longest to appreciate.
I did not know
I'm not
this.
a ballads guy.
I kind of knew that.
But what sealed the deal that it was actually a good song was that killer guitar riff. It's a great song, and this is one of the ones where I was saying earlier on about it being a really glossy album. This is one of the songs, and I think it's the song that benefits the most from that attention to detail and how much time they spent on this song, on this record versus other Prince albums that were just kind of like recorded and out there.
I always thought back in the day that it always reminded me of if I was in heaven, this would be the song that would be playing. And I think it's just the visuals of the white and the trumpet. It was like if you went into heaven, and again, it's very to me. It sounds a bit religious. I don't know if that's just me.
Oh, interesting.
That you have the whole trumpet and the and Rosie Gaines' vocals. It's
I never pictured it that way, but
and I don't know if it's just me thinking of the song and the music video at the same time. But it's like, all right, that's. And I think it's the fact of this song I put on a pedestal kind of thing.
Well, I mean, it's art, right? That's the whole thing. It's what it's your reaction to it is exactly what it is. It's about what it brings up and images. Like it never brought up anything that strong for me. It was just like, oh, it's a nice love song. You know, trust me, I'm not saying it's a bad song or anything. Trust me, that's not what I'm saying.
There'll be Prince fans outside.
Exactly, I'm going to get kicked at the next Prince party.
Yeah, exactly. You're the guy that doesn't like Diamonds and Pearls.
No, I do like Diamonds and Pearls. It's do me, baby. I don't really. I've got some shit in that.
No, that surprised me. That I thought
the song. I think I've come to like it a lot more than I did.
Yeah,
I like the video. The video is really good, and Diamonds and Pearls, the song, even though I got the single at the time, it was it took me a while to appreciate that song.
See, I didn't think I'd find out stuff that I didn't know before. I like doing this. Should we go on to Cream?
Oh yeah,
great pop track,
great maxi single.
Again, music video, absolutely love the whole. Yeah, the legs. No,
that is. Do you know what? That is a perfect pop video.
It's exactly. It was. It's again. It's the color, the art, the suits that they're wearing, and
That's exactly it. It's interesting you say that because this is all part of the world, and it's when we went to the My Name Is Prince exhibition in London. When I saw like Stacey Lang's black and white waistcoat, design, it was just like, oh my god, this is like, it's visual and audio perfection at the same time. That video was a perfect combination of so many different elements. That whole project, actually, I think is
both Diamonds and Pearls music video and Cream music video. It's just they're very different, but still very, very similar.
Yeah.
It's just a great pop track, and I like the the beginning bit where they're in the music video where they're at the train station.
Yeah.
And they're being interviewed. Which one of you are dating Prince?
Yeah.
And then it's the whole
you date Prince, yes.
Yeah. But it has, and it kind of and I may be wrong, but it kind of reminded me of the Batman of the whole 1930s style to the reporting and the very.
How about the next Dan Smoky-ton?
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, when I went to Minneapolis last year, I wanted to fly into Chicago and take a train to Minneapolis just so I can say I was on the next Dan Smoky to Minneapolis.
Didn't know that.
It's like I was just like, yeah.
But it's kind of like that 1930s feel, Art Deco.
Yeah. That's it. This project, and I didn't realize it till now, is as much visual as it is sonic.
Yeah.
Diamonds and Pearls.
Yeah.
To just critique the album or just to listen to the album is actually kind of missing half the picture of why people loved it. I think because it's interesting.
I think that's why I've mentioned the music videos more than I thought I would, because, like you said, it's they're linked and the whole experience is linked.
Well, the first thing you had to say about Thunder was that you thought that there should be a video to it, and I agree with you. I would love to have seen what Prince would have done with a video like then. Because that Prince.
Going back to Thunder, the image that I had was someone in bed and there's a thunderstorm and the bed started shaking. So it's like the lyrics you kind of, and I think that was with a lot of Prince songs, is you build up. Sometimes you make your own music video in your head.
Mine was way more blasphemous than. It was like basically like Prince on the crucifix, kind of singing with like Diamonds and Pearls hair, and like in kind of like one of those kind of lace outfits, like a white lace outfit.
But there's certain Prince tracks that I always listen to, and I'll be like, oh, I'd love to do a music video to this and this. And Are we still on Cream?
Yeah, I mean, just to say that Cream sonically, great pop song. Really intricate little guitar riffs, like that bow bow. I just love that little that dirty little riff and stuff. But it is interesting. This conversation has really made me realize Diamonds and Pearls is not only a sonic album, but like it's a visual one as well. So I think sometimes that whole period, big like Prince fans from beforehand. I think part of why they're not getting it is because it was the visuals are as much as important as just the record.
Which I think for me and you brought a new generation in, and this is nothing against 80s Prince fans or 80s Prince music. I went back and after like Diamonds and Pearls and when I became like a Prince fan, I then went back and then appreciated all the stuff from the 80s. And there's certain tracks in the 80s that I absolutely love. And there's albums that I absolutely love, but I am a 90s Prince fan.
Yeah.
But I go back and I still appreciate the stuff that I didn't listen to back then.
Similar, I'm a 90s Prince fan, but 80s Prince is killer.
Yeah.
Whether it's, Revolution, 1999, tour band, pre-Revolution bands with Andre Simone, Des Dickinson, Prince's music has been quite steadily killer throughout. So to say I'm a 90s Prince fan just means it's a little bit more than those ones. It's not,
Going back to how we started the party in 2013, I just remember, Head playing. I'm like, just singing along to Head, and I'm like, this is amazing. So, and it was like, and then, and even with the parties, there's always something that happens at the party or there's a track, and I'm like, I appreciate it more because of the experience I had listening to it at the party. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time I listened to Head was because I got the hits, the B-sides.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, Pope, Pink Kashmir. I didn't know which ones were new and which ones were old, kind of thing. I had to learn where everything was from.
Yeah, so should we go on to strolling? So strolling, again, it's more of that, to me, and this is probably just my interpretation of it, it's very kind of barbershop-y, old school American, strolling. So I always think of like, no offense, but this is like some kind of barbershop quartet kind of.
It's not a bad thing. I mean,
it's that kind of, and again, it's like I couldn't say why I liked it. I just knew that I liked it.
It's very carefree.
Yeah, but if anybody else, any other artist performed something similar, would have I enjoyed it? It's very hard to describe.
Well, that was his talent. I think that's part of his talent, is making things that shouldn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of lazy kind of it's one of those kind of melodies that you can sing without thinking about it. And also Killer Guitar by Levi Ceasar Jr.
Right. Amazing.
The man with the blue guitar. Keller. I love that track. I mean, I love it not because it's a great, it's no Crystal Ball, it's no Strays of the World, big 3 Chains of Gold, complicated. There's not like a bunch of complicated things happening. No. Lots of the things that are said about Prince is that he uses space well, and that's another little track that.
All I remember.
Space well.
So when I got this album, I was a paper boy at the time, and I just remember delivering papers and literally singing, "We can just," singing along to Strolling while delivering newspapers, and it was that whole, like you said, carefree. And then it was literally just me strolling down the street and just, we can just.
It could so easily be a cheat.
I'm trying not to sing. I'm trying my best not to sing.
Yeah, but that's the sign of a good song, right? When you mention it and the first thing you want to do is sing it. You're like, that's...
Yeah. We can have fun, strong rocking.
Okay, we need to reel you in.
Don't even get me started. Glad we're not doing any
Exodus. He's going to hum
Exodus.
the guitar solo in a minute.
Gonna have me, yeah.
But I think that's a universal thumbs up from both of us, I think.
Yeah, exactly. It's one that, again, wouldn't skip, would still play through, and
I think you're more likely to skip along to it than skip it.
You know what I'm going to be doing? I'll be like,
it's a great track.
There's a guy over there skipping, he's singing. So, Willing and Able.
Oh, yes.
Dun, 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 dun.
You just got to start it.
Yeah, I know.
This is going to descend from reviews into just humming about tracks.
Leon Chopin do karaoke, Prince karaoke.
But there's so many little bits I want to sing, like dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's such a great track.
I'm trying not to sing Tony M's rap part to it. I'm like, no, I'm going to hold myself back.
For the best.
Yeah, I know. He's my spirit animal. And again, great music video. It's
and
just,
Rosie's part.
Yeah. I'm trying not to sing. It's so hard not to sing. Because it's like, you want to talk about a certain part, and the only way you can talk about a certain part is by singing it. And it's like, well, I'm not going to do that.
I just love it from that start off guitar riff to the very last bit. It's just like, it's just the tap of the snare, and it's rim shots. And, I love it. It grooves, like he's got such a cool delivery.
And like with the whole album itself, it introduced me to so many different genres of like me starting to like jazz and going in, listening to James Brown, Sly and the Family Stone. This album, it just opened me up to, I was like, oh wow, I didn't realise I liked that. I didn't realise, and I started to listen after this. I started to listen to a lot more jazz.
Yeah.
And it's songs like this, and but it was how this song then combined with Rosie Gaines' vocals and then Tony M's raps. But you think, oh right, this style of song wouldn't, and it just works.
Well, I think this is the thing, and like as much as you can, lots of people talk about Prince chasing trends with rappers and stuff, and you know, some of that might be true in the way that he was approaching things, but he didn't always do it in a way that was, you know, copying. I think there's nothing similar to, think about rap at the time. You know, none of it sounded like Willing and Able.
No.
Right. Hip hop at the time did not sound like Willing and Able. It's, you know, he had the kind of sense to kind of take what he wanted from it.
It was a fusion, I suppose.
Yeah.
It was a type of fusion.
I think it's more clear on like Symbol album than like the next album that it became a lot more like harder, bigger, focused on kind of hip hop beats and stuff like that.
Would you agree that with the Diamonds and Pearls and then the Symbol album, the way I would see it, and correct me if I'm wrong, the Diamonds and Pearls is the softer side and Symbol's more edgier? Would you say that? More chiseled?
Yeah, well, Symbol album.
To me, they're like yin and yang.
Yes. They're still partner albums in a way.
Yeah.
But the Symbol album has got so many tracks, as in layers, you know, side by side, and so much going on that you could almost separate out half the layers and create two different songs from each song. They're so densely produced. Whereas Diamonds and Pearls there's still a lot of space in there sonically. I mean, there's a couple of sections where it goes quite dense, but not really. Like that thing that people were saying that Prince used space well. Diamonds and Pearls as an album still uses space well. You know, whereas the Symbol album is just like, try and find a space anywhere in that album to fit in another sound or another instrument. It's just like, there isn't one.
Yeah.
He crammed it to the rafters. It's like Diamonds and Pearls is like opening the door to a new, beautifully pristine show-bought loft flat apartment, right?
I love this description.
You open the door and it's been placed and everything's perfectly staged,
Perfectly placed. Yeah, I like
by
that.
the estate agent. You know, whereas Symbol is like opening the door to a hoarder's home. You know, like it's just all of these sounds and nothing. But I love it. That's not a criticism of it.
No,
it's just what it is. You know?
I like that. I like that description. That's very good. Are we finished with Will and Able?
Do you have anything more to say about it? Then it's a, you know, you can
the music videos are all
a live version.
It's a live version, isn't it?
I think it's like, here's the thing with the Will and Able one. I think it's live vocals.
Okay.
I think it's them miming to a backing track with live vocals. The vocals are kind of different. I'm not sure it's entirely live. I could be correct.
Trying not to sing Tony M's rap. I'm so trying.
Well, hello.
No, don't. No.
Get your flip phone out.
Yeah, no, try to.
Tamburaka.
Yeah, and he's got like a big chunky phone. I just remember that.
I just remember always wanting one of those Tamburakas, which I now have.
Yeah. Oh dear. Try not to sing.
What next?
We
I know
have
what's next, but
Get Off, which is sex. It's just sex.
Yeah. Between 4 minutes or 10 minutes, depending on which version. One of the best singles ever.
I'm just looking at it now. Just looking at your.
Yeah, read those track listings.
Did you? I'll let you do the honours.
So, Get Off Extended Remix. Oh my god, so good. Get Off House Style. Again, so good. Violet the Organ Grinder. Might even be better than Get Off. Right.
I knew he was going to say that.
One of the best songs ever made.
Mm-hmm.
Violet the Organ Grinder. Actually, I think Violet the Organ Grinder is...
And a great music video.
It's my funeral song. Yeah. That's what I want played at my funeral.
Oh my god. Love it.
Dearly beloved. No.
No. He wants this song played.
Exactly. Yeah, and no, Violet the Organ Grinder. Oh my god. Get Off Flute Instrumental. Cool Vogue track. You know, you could imagine the models Vogue. You know, Gangsta Glam Clock and the Jizz. Not only are these great tracks, but again with the visual thing, this is a video single, a video maxi single, right? All of these have videos, but apart from Flute Instrumental, all of these have videos. Great videos.
Yeah.
You know, not only do we have the the gorgeousness that is the Get Off video with Caligula-esque.
Yeah, kind of Egyptian, I guess, at the start.
And
where they walk through, obviously they walk through the doors, don't they?
You here for the audition.
But it's just sex.
Yeah. And Violet the organ grinder, just when you think it can't get any more sex, that's like you've added a couple of partners to.
But the thing is, it's like we were talking about it.
As you say, Tony M is your spirit animal.
Tony M is my spirit animal.
Violet the organ grinder is my spirit animal, as in the gold chain hat, the gold chain mesh over his body with those high-waisted trousers in a gold cage. I mean, that opened worlds to me. But
we've talked about, obviously, the music and the album and then the music videos, but it's also like the artwork on these vinyls. And
I mean, let's have a look at these. I mean, just... Because here's the thing with Diamonds and Pearls, is like, lots of stuff you can just put down to Prince being a genius, but this is where he surrounds himself with...
I'm currently looking at the Laserdisc version of Diamonds and Pearls, the video collection.
Oh.
Right. See, I had this on VHS, but you've got the Laserdisc version.
Here's the thing about that.
I'm glad you brought these out, because it's quite cool to look at and talk about at the same time.
Here's the thing, that Diamonds and Pearls video collection, I looked at, I had the VHS, obviously, when I was a kid. And wore it till there was basically snow on the screen. It was played it so much. Now, that cover, when I went to Paisley Park, one of the highlights of the whole of the Paisley Park experience, and trust me, being at Paisley Park is just one big long run of highlights upon highlights upon highlights. One of the highlights was seeing that cover, that the actual jewelry box, the thing that's a photograph of, framed on the wall, the art piece.
So this was, I didn't know this. This was framed on.
That's actually a jewelry box with loads of jewelry glued onto it.
Yeah, wasn't this used in the symbol, the 3 Chains of Gold video?
No, that's a different one
that's the different one.
Yeah, that one had different jewels on it, but it's pretty much the kind of the same thing. That's
where she hands over the tape. That's what I'm thinking of. And that's
actually a framed kind of sculpture or whatever you want to perform.
A piece of art
that's actually in a frame at Paisley Park. When you walk through the door, just turn left, and it's on the wall. And I remember these poor security guys kind of looking at me as I kind of shivered with, oh my God, it's the cover of the Diamonds and Pearls video collection. And just geeked out.
As anyone would,
As anyone would, yeah. So, this is the thing about he surrounded himself with really good people. Not just good musicians, but, from Steve Park doing the artwork, Randy St. Nicholas doing doing pictures. Randy St. Nicholas, I think, did some of the videos as well. Point of View Films, Stacia Lang, Kim Berry doing the typhoon haircut. It just all so good.
So Get Off has kind of set us off at a tangent.
Well, I mean, the tangent is tangent is that this again. I realise it is a visual project because even the single was a video single. You know, I could do a cultural thesis on Violet the organ grinder. Let's just say that. But Get Off and the birthday, the initial.
But I remember, at any party, if someone plays it, I know you're always on the dance floor.
Yeah, Get Off and. But everybody's on the dance floor, so to be fair.
No, but if that song, definitely. Well, yeah. When do you not on the dance floor?
So Get Off, yeah. So that's a slam dunk of a song. From video to song to remixes that turned into new songs. That Get Off is almost a thing that is greater than the whole Diamonds and Pearls album. It's just so good.
Totally agree. Can't argue with that. Next one, Walk, Don't Walk. Very, I think, gospel for me. I think Rosie shines on this one.
It's interesting you say gospel because I never thought of it that way, and now I'm kind of hearing it like that. I kind of put it in like a kind of little avant-garde kind of category, like My Little Pill or something like that. It's just like, it's just one of Prince's strange little tracks that are actually really good.
Yeah.
You know, like Love Song that you did with Madonna, or My Little Pill, There Is Lonely. Those strange little tracks that just had you. Those strange little tracks that are just fantastic, but not where you would categorize them. But actually, interesting that you said gospel. I can now actually see the whole, waving the fans and singing it in the pews.
Yeah. And for me, and again, it's another one where I picture a music video in my head of a very busy city, and you're moving, and it's like walk, don't walk, that kind of thing. And then, seeing the American style crossings, about taking your time in life, I guess. It's my interpretation.
Which path are you going to take?
Yeah, which path are you going to take? Walk, don't walk is.
Also, there's a kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing.
So take the risk or don't take the risk.
It's like a very simple message delivered in a very confused way.
Yeah.
It's basically a be yourself track.
Mm-hmm.
Be yourself, free yourself, but in a very offbeat way. Sometimes I love it. Sometimes it's skippable. But a lot of the time I love it. It's a strange track.
As we're talking about it, all I keep on picturing is me as this paperboy just listening to, strolling, walk, don't walk. It was
That's true.
It was very of a physical album for me. It's like I was always walking and listening to it. So I just have flashbacks of me, with my little Walkman cassette tape, delivering papers and just.
So for you, this is audio, visual, and physical. This is a very complete project.
And I suppose that's it was my album, my Prince album. But again, it's with me. It was like I was a Prince fan on my own, and I was listening to it, and it was mine. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it was like my.
Oh yeah.
Talking about this album now and having flashbacks of like, all right, and I just remember just listening to it, walking and being very young and listening to Prince.
I totally get the mine aspect of it, especially as like there were hit songs, Diamonds and Pearls, Cream, Get Off, that other people knew, but like.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I remember if it was on a cassette tape, you'd switch over, and I think Walk, Don't Walk was the side.
Oh, was it?
The second side. I could be, people could correct me, but I'm sure Get Off was the last of the side A, or side one, and then side two was. I just remember turning the tape over.
See, I also because the record my sister had was so scratched, I borrowed this from a library and taped the copy. So you're more likely to be accurate because of.
I'm sure that I just remember, like I said, I had my Walkman. I just remember flipping the tape over. I just remember it being, to like me again. This is very. And this is probably my interpretation of it, very 1930s America. It has that vibe. I don't know. I just have these images. It's probably just me. Just have these images of America, American cities and stuff like that. So I don't know. That could be just me.
Yeah, kind of like
American culture.
Well, it could be like the soundtrack to like Superman's Metropolis.
Yeah. It's very much that.
It's not a Gotham track; it's a Metropolis track.
Yeah, that's probably just me with my.
It's far too shiny and happy to be from Gotham.
Yeah, it's more more Metropolis than. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So if Diamonds and Pearls,
the Daily World.
Yeah, so if Diamonds and Pearls would be Metropolis, I think the Symbol album would be Gotham.
Oh yeah.
I like that. I like that interpretation. That the Symbol album would be Metropolis.
Gotham on a chaotic day.
Yeah, Symbol album would be Gotham, and Diamonds and Pearls would be Metropolis. I like that. Jughead, love this track. I
think we're the only two Prince fans.
I just remember me and you. We saw MPG Indigo 02 a couple of months ago, and I didn't think they were going to play this, and they played it, and me and you just went bananas.
Yeah.
And I think there's video footage online somewhere of me and you going bananas, or someone has video footage of me and you. And
I don't know if you noticed, but I think Tony noticed that we were having a very good time because he pointed a couple of them.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, I don't know why, I just love this. I think it's just
and Prince's
top 3 on this album. I think this would be
Really?
Yeah, it's just one that I will just get up and dance to, or I will sing along to, and kicking the jacket. Yeah, yeah.
I think sometimes, why it gets a bad rap.
Hey,
It's a stupid pun. Sorry for that one. No pun intended. But I think this why some fans, especially 80s fans, don't take songs like this seriously is possibly because they shouldn't. It's a fun track. It's not written to be straight out of Compton. It's not Public Enemy. It's just a fun track. And that's
funky. It's just kicking the jacket. Yeah, yeah. Trying not to sing.
With an interesting message at the end, given how his career went.
Okay.
But if you think about it, it's the first time on record that Prince starts mentioning anything about copyrights.
Oh, with the bit at the end with
they say the wheelers and dealers for your rights. And
the rights about musical artists.
Yeah, so that whole changing his name to a symbol seemed very overnight, but actually, if you
look back, it's kind of hinted here, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's on the first MPG album. There's a whole section of it.
Yeah, he punches the manager, doesn't he, in this one?
And I think actually this is an interesting thing where Prince used to use Morris as a character through which to play certain aspects of himself. And I think this is interesting, that bit at the end is, whether Tony came up with it himself or whether it was kind of between a conversation between him and Prince. I'd be interested to know. I'd actually be interested to ask Tony to know about this. Whether Prince is actually using Tony to be a voice for a part of himself.
No, it's not him.
He wasn't comfortable saying at that point, but come 2 days after signing the new contract, Prince became very comfortable with being this voice.
Yeah, it's not me. It's Tony M. But it's interesting. Yeah,
it's interesting that it's on one of Prince's conscious hits.
Yeah,
right. Diamonds and Pearls is a conscious push to
commercial
hit, and then he puts this on there about
rights, artists'
rights. And it's interesting that the more he goes in the hits direction, the more he hits this wall of it's not worth that. And I think this is the first time it's on record.
Yeah. And do you think this is the first signs of that?
I think it's him starting to realise that he can't spend a year producing a record every time. That's my kind of take on that. So Jughead can seem like a throwaway track.
But there's that bit at the end.
Actually, maybe I recount the thing about it's not Public Enemy, it's not Straight Outta Compton. It's
Fight the Power kind of... No, I suppose not. Jughead. Yeah. I'm trying not to sing.
Jesus, in my the first time I've actually had to think about Jughead rather than
it's interesting
just
talking about it. You begin to realise.
Okay.
You begin to realise things you've not noticed or.
Okay. All right, Rance. Yeah, go on.
Money don't matter tonight. Love.
Gorgeous, poetic storytelling. Again, one of these artful things that Prince can do is with the first line land you right in the spot emotionally.
Yeah.
And it's been 7 hours and 13 days since you took your love away. You know exactly where you are. One more card and it's 22. Unlucky for him again. It's like you're there. You're sat there. You're in the bar, you're sat next to him and you're slumped across. And it's the laziness of the beat compared with that lyric, and it's just like sitting all alone in an all-white room feeling like the color blue. It's like, oh, I'm right there with you. I know exactly where
storytelling.
I know the storytelling, but he doesn't meander. He jumps off really well with the first line.
And visually, you're there as well.
Yeah, and this is another one of those times where he just comes with it, bucking out the gate, telling you exactly where you are first line, and doesn't let up.
Yeah.
And doesn't let up. Brilliant video with Spike Lee as well.
Spike Lee, yeah. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. And very, obviously, social and political and of the times. One of my favourites, I think, on this one. Like you said, it gets you're there at the start. You're in that story mode, and and again, if there wasn't a music video, you could build that picture in your mind, and you're there. So
another one of those goosebump lines. Yeah, if long life is what we all live for, then long life will come to pass. Anything's better than the picture of a child in the cloud, I guess. And you think you got it bad. And I mean, every time I heard that, I was just like, because it was that first Gulf War, Desert Storm. It was just as I was starting to realize that war, I know this sounds really bad, but that war was a bad thing in terms of things that we did as well. I mean, I was very much growing up. I was into aeroplanes, and it was all RAF is goodies, and British are goodies, and Falklands, the British are goodies, and anybody else is bad. And then it's just like the Gulf War rolls around, and it's like I'm starting to get that age where you start to question things, and it's just like, oh. And I think that, in its sense, is the start of Prince being the soundtrack to my life, in not just not just that's the song that was played when I did this, but that's the song that was playing when I realized this, or that's the song that made me realize this. And I think that's one of the lines that's started me thinking that these weren't just cool aeroplanes.
Yeah,
it wasn't just cool technology.
Made you think.
There's a consequence to this, and I think this is one of those. I mean, there were other things going on at the time, definitely, but this is one of those songs that made me start to question things.
And obviously, I'm a big Janet Jackson fan, and I kind of pair this with State of the World on Rhythm Nation.
Yep.
You have
and the knowledge.
And the knowledge. Yeah. It's songs that make you think. And
yeah.
I was listening to Rhythm Nation.
And Man in the Mirror.
Yeah. It's exactly. It's the songs that make you think, and I like what you said about, it's either a song that reminds you of something, but with this one, it would be if you're in a certain mood, you would then listen to that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, a great song. Next one, the one that bonded our friendship, Push.
Step one, step off to the dance floor. Push it on it. Here we go. Yeah.
I just remember us just literally just singing along to this, and it was like, oh my god, I've made a friend for life.
Yeah.
I don't really hear it much. I'm trying to think. Do we hear this Push at parties? I don't. That's interesting.
I think I played it live with Katrina once, just strumming around on the guitar with.
Was that on the boat in 2013?
Yeah. But I don't hear the DJs don't play this one because people would sing along, especially that.
I've only just realised that just talking about it. Do I'm trying to think what. So obviously, Cream, Get Off. I don't think they play Jughead. There's not many. It's interesting, though. I've put some
Prince
requests.
DJs out there.
Dre,
Unique, Le Freak. This song needs to be played a bit more.
Yeah, we need more Push.
I can hear their eyes rolling as we speak. He's like, no. It's all right. We'll just play Erotic City. It's like, no. But it's like, that's cool.
Next Prince part, I'm going to request Push. Yeah, I love it, and I love the whole part where they're trying to entice Prince to get on the mic.
They don't want me on the mic.
Yeah, I know. Get on the mic. And like you said at the start about how
it's that falsetto before he sings that,
and then it's like, and then it just goes into that rap, and it's like I love what you said at the start. That how do you remember the track listings? You just go through the rap.
It's Thunder. I'm on the mic. Daddy Pop is in the house, and I'm sure
from Pakistan to Poland, straight to your town, snatching up kids like a circus clown. I just love it.
I love Katrina because she knows all of Rosie's parts as well.
But this is it though. It'd be like
you know it as well.
Yeah, I know. They call me Rosie G, and I just don't care. I like to step all night long. No, I'm trying not to sing
that song. Oh my god, I know it too.
But again, it's like, you're in a room of Prince fans. It's like, hey, I'm the only one that knows these lyrics.
Yeah. I love that track. I mean, but it's the way that their vocals fit so tightly, Rosie and Prince, on that track, that make it work. because it's just like a simple groove, but they just give it this texture. There's something so lovely about, like, texturally about their vocals together. It was so good.
Yeah, probably say this is one of my favourites on this album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are we finished with Push?
Do you have anything more to say about it other than it's a great track?
Other than a great track, and I'm trying not to sing any part of it.
And that every Prince DJ should play
no one's
this
ever going to listen to this
More.
podcast. Yeah, exactly. Request Push at your next Prince party, please.
We should put that backwards throughout the whole thing.
Subliminal messaging.
Keep talking, Lee.
Push.
Request Push at your next Prince party. Request Push at your next Prince party.
Insatiable.
Doom, doom.
Bedroom track.
Oh, yeah.
Always reminds me, I kind of pair this up with Scandalous. It's that kind of bedroom ballad.
I totally see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I think it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I actually think it's one of his best ballads.
Yeah.
Yeah. I prefer this to Scandalous. I prefer it to Do Me Baby. I think it's a better ballad. I think it's beautifully recorded, beautifully mixed, and beautifully performed. And it's got such a tension to it.
Yeah.
You know, and there's little bits of playfulness as well. And he does that really well. It's like that kind of, there's sexual tension.
This is probably going to sound really weird, and I apologise for it.
Go ahead.
But this is probably going to be Prince fans are going to like sexy chocolate adverts, like the old 80s 90s flake commercials. It's going to be sound too weird. You're looking at me going, what is he on?
Only the crumbliest flake is
no,
insatiable. Only.
But it's that kind of... Oh, I can't describe it. Oh.
I'm now picturing like the man from Milk Tray walking into Insatiable.
Don't, because I'll make that happen. I'll edit that. But that kind of sexiness of the man
Of a chocolate.
You're going to have to cut this out.
It's got the sexiness of a sweet advert. I think it's a bit better than that.
You know what I mean? Oh, I give up. You can cut that bit out.
Oh, no. No, that's staying in.
It was no disrespect to the song. It was just that how... Yeah, no.
I actually weirdly understand what you're getting at. It's got that kind of old school seduction.
Yes, that's what I mean. It's more. It wasn't about the chocolate. It was that style of seduction. That style of seduction of silk. I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to visualize, and I'll give up.
Are you trying to say it's got that air of like there's a danger to it? There's like the tension. It's not like just like sweet and romantic. It's kind of like got a kind of dark tension to them.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And it's just
I probably described it completely the wrong way, but I knew what I meant.
You know, I want you alone in my dirty little cage. You know, it's kind of like more like a Bond sex scene than it is.
Yeah, that's probably the better way of describing it instead of a chocolate advert. No, that's not right. It's very Bond-like.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for saving me.
That's right, no worries.
Please, baby, don't say no.
There's so many great little musical parts. Even the groove is just quite got a tension to it. Like you say, it's sexy and it's kind of like dangerous, and
there's even a physical element to it with the song. It's like up and down, and it's like with the music and the vocals, it's like
you're traveling with
you're traveling through the bed sheets. I don't know, but it's
yeah. The video is great, and his outfit, that beautiful Jaipur lace Stacey Lang, outfit. I mean, he painted a visual with this song that works without the video. You know,
please, baby, don't say no. It just
partially go crazy.
Seriously, it's Lee and Chopin do karaoke. But yeah, no, it's sex,
and that and just like the little noises at the end as it travels out.
Dun, dun, dun. It's like you're in the room and you're watching, and the last part of it is like you creeping out the back door. You're creeping out the door. You've witnessed something, or you're peeping through the keyhole kind of thing.
Yeah,
and you're like, okay, let them.
Which is another of that reason why it seems more like an illicit affair than it does like, a married couple.
Yeah,
this is just like a kind of dangerous illicit affair.
Yeah, and that's what I meant.
Literally, you're walking out as the husband's walking in.
Yeah,
like that kind of.
Yeah,
it's
affair like.
Yeah.
Mm. Are we finished on that? Are we cutting out the chocolate bit? Because Prince fans are going to come up.
2:49. We've got all night.
Live for love. We are here. At the end.
Okay, from launch procedure commence to bow, bow, bow. Perfect.
Is it boom life? Is it boom death? Right, I'm not going to sing.
No, this is a dangerous one because I could sing this whole thing start to finish.
So for me, this is probably one of my top, like second or third, because it's very sci-fi, very.
Yeah. Well, it's got the Barbarella samples, acceleration into temporal space continuum now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very Top Gun-y, has a Top Gun feel to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's there in the lyrics.
Yeah, and it's storytelling, and like you said, in the first few seconds of the song, you're transported somewhere. Yeah. And you're in a plane or a spaceship.
30,000 feet and still accounting. Well, I mean, you're even transported before Prince sings with that launch.
Yeah, exactly. And I absolutely loved it. And hidden secret, I used to love listening to this playing video games. I used to love listening to this playing Afterburner, Space Harrier. Of course
it was Afterburner.
Exactly. I was like,
Sega.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like... So I'm a big video game junkie, and obviously retro video games.
I'm not, but I remember that.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, this was like, oh, right, I'm going to go play Afterburner now, and I'm like, oh yeah, listen to Live for Love. It was like, wow, it's like Prince as a fighter pilot. It was like, yeah, that could work.
Now that would have been a video.
Yeah,
trying to cram that beautiful coiffed hair into. The helmet and just like having it lifted.
I'm going to Photoshop this tomorrow.
Shaking his hair and then it just still being that perfect kiss curled and jerry curl.
Prince in Top Gun. That would be amazing.
Finger wave, kind of.
Yeah. No, but it's probably top three. Definitely probably third or second.
Here's the thing about this song. It's so great. It's one of the best on the album. And yet there's a better version exists.
Oh, yeah, go on.
The demo, the early version where the lyrics are different. It's not that the production is better. It's just that bit, don't think about the families, the babies and the moms. I wish he'd left that in.
Do you think he removed it, or do you think it was Record?
I don't think Record. No, I think it was him.
Right.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, he was given a lot of creative control, and then the live version is so epic from that video collection, Live in London. That version, that's where you realise he's a guitar legend.
Yeah.
That's where you realise he's not just like a singer that plays a bit of guitar. I mean, I guess by this point, the world knew, but I didn't. But that's when I saw that video collection, it was just like, I knew of Purple Rain and, whatever. But not to dismiss it. It's great. It's fantastic, legendary, iconic.
But for us, it was an introduction.
For me, this was when I realised this guy
is a genius.
Is a genius guitar player. Like when I saw that Live for Love live in London on the video collection. Oh, just what he did with it was. Yeah, like
Yeah,
at the end,
Mm-hmm.
and why that full show didn't come out as well as the video collection. But I regress. Any version of this song, every version of this song I've heard is great. It's that bit with the sunny bit, then ding a ding a ding a ding a ding, and then ding 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 ding, and and they played this live at the first MPG gig I went to was it last year? I was one of the great joys of that gig. One of the most, for me, I mean, there was an amazing bit where they played Call the Law, and that was fantastic. Yeah. But one of the great joys of this is like I was right up close to the front, a couple of feet away from Sonny T, watching him play this, and my eyes were transfixed on his fingers when he did when he done his bit. It was just like, this is where we get to say that Prince was a genius, but he surrounded himself with such a high level of players, artists, designers, and Sonny T is definitely one of those people. It was just like watching him just play, and I got to watch him play at Bunkers in Minneapolis this year, along with Michael Bland, and that was another dream. That was another dream come true to see the two of them. My favorite rhythm section in the entirety of musical history. I know other people have different ones, but for me, my favorite rhythm section is Michael Bland and Sonny T, the two of them playing together. Whether it be from like the Diamonds and Pearls symbol all the way up to the Gold era stuff and Exodus. It's just, they are like, but that's together is hypnotic.
Yeah, that's them that era is both. I think mine and yours is that's our era.
Yeah.
My question, where it says last words from the cockpit.
Yeah.
He died. He sacrificed himself at the end, or he died at the end. It's
all get shut down.
It's like, but boom life, or is it boom death? If I remember rightly. I
guess it's open.
Yeah, I suppose it's open.
It's open. I mean, last words from the cockpit. Well,
it could be.
Well, it could be that was his last mission he ever went on. He didn't drop his bombs and just flew home and quit the army. Quit the Air
interesting.
Force.
Yeah, I like that.
His last words from the cockpit doesn't mean that the guy died.
No,
or it could be that the guy died.
Interesting. Well, there's a lot to think about. Overall, I don't know what. I think we've realised a lot tonight.
Tens across the board.
Well, this is it. This is the album that introduced me to Prince, and crazy roller coaster ride. It's in a very, very positive way. It's been. I don't know what else to say.
This is the interesting thing about it. Is it my favourite Prince album? No, because I think Prince improved on this. I think the MPG improved.
Mm-hmm.
But it was definitely a new turn.
Yes.
And it was the mark of a new era. And it's the first album, I would say, of an era that I think is a classic Prince era that may sometimes not be considered one.
Yes.
When people think of Prince, often they think of Purple Rain Prince.
Yep.
But if you say the word Prince to me, I think of this Prince. That's the haircut. Those are the clothes.
Defining.
That's how I think of Prince. And it's, it's one of his more commercial things. So I think it's sad that when all the reissues and the reconsidering of all of his stuff is being done, that they don't realise that this was a really commercial period, and that there's some, great unreleased projects. There's great unreleased songs around this era.
Do you think we'll get anything from, especially this album or this era?
I think not until things settle down.
Yeah.
Not for a while. I think everybody's so focused on the Purple stuff.
Yeah.
Whether it be Purple Rain 1999, I think people are really focused on 80s Prince at the moment, and that's where the kind of, and I guess rightfully so. That's where it became, it's iconic. It's, but I think it's a mark of greatness that this, with anybody else, an album this great or a period of albums this great can be forgotten or even considered lesser. That just proves what kind of heights he reached.
Do you think it's an unappreciated album within the community?
Definitely. I think it depends who you ask. I mean, you've got two fans here.
Yeah, I think
But you've got two fans here who probably wouldn't really think about reviewing Purple Rain or 1999.
I think
their first choice.
No.
But the first choice we made is Diamonds and Pearls.
Yeah, because, like I said, I think it was the one that our friendship was built on. And also it's the album that we're both very, very fond of. So
we're talking a lot of music.
So what
this guy produced over his lifetime, to kind of shine a little light on any of it, it's like it's at the moment it's been overshadowed by just this one big purple light in the middle in the mid 80s. But actually, there's a lot.
And we've kind of shone a light on this one.
Yeah, because it deserves it.
Yes.
Because actually, I think this album, Purple Rain made him a lot of fans, many of whom didn't stay the course. But some of them did, and they lasted way to the end. I think Diamonds and Pearls made him as many lasting fans as Purple Rain did.
I like that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. It was another big commercial thing, and it got him a lot of fans for a short period of time, both Diamonds and Pearls and Purple Rain. But I think if you look at the lasting fans, I think both albums made them just as many lasting fans, people who joined the MPG music club. Yeah. A lot of them actually, I find Diamonds and Pearls.
Yeah, I became a fan in 91 and I lasted I'm still a fan now.
I joined in 92, still a fan now.
Yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this bizarre, not karaoke review. Please cut out the chocolate bit.
Yeah.
Of Diamonds and Pearls. Please let us know what you think or what you think of this podcast. Any other comments you'd like to make about the album? Anything we missed?
The time has come to say goodbye, and I don't know about you, but I don't know if you've loved listening to it, but I've loved talking about this album. I've loved talking about Diamonds and Pearls, and Lee, I've
had a really good time. I've realised a lot of stuff about this album that I didn't think about before. Hopefully you enjoy this podcast. So what album shall we do next?